Peace, chosen ones. Happy Our Wisdom Wednesday. I hope you all are doing well. And tonight we are going to talk about the very thin line between mental illness and spiritual warfare. In the last 7 or 8 years of me being open about my spirituality, I started to see a pattern, but I couldn't really put my finger on it until just a couple weeks ago, that there is a very thin line between psychological distress, or aka mental illness, and spiritual attacks or spiritual warfare. And I can understand why people don't see that there is a correlation between the two, because most of us never learn to tell the difference. Both of these issues, psychological warfare and spiritual warfare, can show up as racing thoughts, night terrors, anxiety, feeling detached from your body, feeling watched, mood swings, losing motivation, being fatigued, Sometimes it's your brain being overwhelmed, and other times it's energy that doesn't even belong to you. In this simulation, in the matrix, especially for the chosen ones, the seers, the intuitives, the light workers, etc., we're not just fighting our own battles with our mind. We're fighting other people's energies. We're fighting other people's spirits, other spirits in general, generational curses, generational patterns, and even other people intentionally sending malicious energy towards you. Now, some of the ways that we can decipher between psychological warfare and spiritual warfare, when you know it's your mind and not spiritual warfare, is from burnout, from trauma, PTSD, lack of sleep, insomnia, hormonal imbalances, overwhelming thoughts. And when you get a hold or control of all of those things, your life starts to improve. You get more rest, you get organized, you start to heal. Some of the other ways this is psychological warfare is the physical symptoms when the body gets involved with gastrointestinal issues, inflammation, hormonal swings, adrenal fatigue, because we know that our state of mind responds to our physical state, and spiritual warfare affects the soul, and psychological warfare more so hits your mind and your body. Now, some of the ways that we can sense that it's spiritual warfare and not just psychological warfare is that it hits you out of nowhere. Even during moments of peace, you're fine one minute and upset the next. Your environment changes, not just your thoughts. Like there's a physical, heavier, darker presence in your home, in certain spaces in your home. That's a telltale sign of spiritual warfare. You feel targeted and not just overwhelmed. Like it feels directed. It feels like something or someone is intentionally sending this malicious energy towards you. You feel drained after certain interactions with certain people. Some people are vessels, some people are portals, some people are just being used as energetic food, or what we like to call NPCs. Also, nighttime disturbances, waking up between 2 to 5 a.m. when you usually wake up later, or what we call the witching hour, vivid nightmares, scary nightmares, sleep paralysis. And then every area of your life starts to get hit all at once. I'm talking back-to-back obstacles, random chaos, relationship tension, financial setbacks, lack of confidence when you used to be a confident person, sudden self-doubt. This is attack energy. It's not psychological energy. This is energy either coming from somewhere, someone else, or something else. It could even be you attacking yourself through someone else. Like people will do spell work, or what I like to call energetic work, to manipulate a person, to cause illusions, to cause you to have some type of self-doubt upon yourself, basically projecting onto you whatever they lack within themselves. They want to send that energy outward so that it'll hit someone else in an attempt to boost their confidence and to belittle your own confidence. That's a sneaky way that people like to do energetic work, by self-sabotage, like attempting to make you sabotage yourself. There's also a gray area, because the way I see it, mental illness is spiritual warfare that's turned physical. And once spiritual warfare has turned physical, we have a major problem, because now pretty much every area of your life is about to be hit or attacked. When spiritual warfare triggers mental illness or mental psychological symptoms, mental distress, that's a gateway or a portal, a door for a spiritual attack. When you're feeling exhausted, ungrounded, inflamed, unprotected, your spiritual defenses are on low. Your aura is thin, especially when you're in a depressed state. And this is why I highly recommend, when or if you are going through some type of psychological issues, especially depression, please be careful and mindful about who and where you share that information. I personally don't think that social media is a place to share that information, and I'm speaking from my own personal experiences, because back in 2015, 2016, almost a decade ago, I was very carefree with what I posted on social media. I was also a decade younger, but I was very carefree about what I posted on social media, and I had no idea that I was opening myself up to all types of spiritual attacks until I started getting hit with those spiritual attacks. And some of those things that I was open up about on social media was depression, was my state of mind, was my emotional instability, and people fed off of that. And it wasn't just strangers. It was friends, it was family, it was some of everyone. So I would highly suggest that you are very careful about who and where you share this information about your psychological status. That's when low vibrational entities, jealous people, psychic attacks, generational spirits, generational curses can enter into your aura. It's not just spiritual anymore, it's turned physical. You're not crazy. You're underfed spiritually, overwhelmed mentally, unguarded emotionally. And that's how the warfare gets started. So these are some of the things that I personally like to do in order to combat psychological warfare and spiritual warfare. First, keeping your home cleansed. Even in the fall and winter, especially in the fall and winter. This is the witches and warlocks season. This is when a lot of people go into seasonal depression and people strike. That's when they strike, when the iron is hot. When you are at your lowest. Holidays are coming up. You're missing your family. You're missing your loved ones, whether they're passed on or you're in a different state or whatever. This is when people can attack. I also have herbal teas daily. Some of my favorites that I'm drinking right now is the hibiscus tea and a dandelion root and leaf tea. Staying active with some type of movement, walking, rebounding, keeping your floors clean, your entryway clean, opening the doors or the windows, even if it's cold, so you can get some fresh air in and not keep that stagnant energy in your home. Also, pay attention to patterns. Pride myself on being a very observant person, but I didn't start recording or paying attention to patterns until, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I've seen a significant improvement in my quality of life. And some of the patterns to pay attention to are, when do these attacks start? Who were you around? What were you thinking about? What blessings were you getting ready to accomplish when these attacks started? You were almost close to something, and then you probably put it on social media or told certain people or were around certain people, and all of a sudden that blessing didn't come through, or it fell through, or you had trouble seeing it through. These are the things that we have to pay attention to. Also, most importantly for the psychological warfare is a combination of therapy and spiritual assistance. I think they go hand in hand. Is something that I personally do. I recommend everyone go to therapy, especially if you think you are under some type of spiritual attack or spiritual warfare. And also calling on your ancestors, your angels, your guides, whoever you believe in the spirit team to assist you. And I want to close this message out by making sure that everyone understands that thin line between psychological warfare and spiritual warfare doesn't make you crazy. It doesn't make you paranoid. It makes you prepared, being ready for it, because anything can happen in the matrix. And I do mean anything. Thank you all for tuning in to this week's Our Wisdom Wednesday. I greatly appreciate it. Please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, share the content. Please, as the holidays approach, next week is Thanksgiving, protect yourself, protect your family with whatever spiritual practices you deem necessary for your household, because this is a time where the attacks are rampant. Take care of yourself, speak life over yourself. I love you. Peace.